No Chill Sports is an unapologetic, high-energy sports show where opinions fly fast and facts hit hard. The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the hosts and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of any affiliated networks, sponsors, or partners. Content may include passionate debates, bold predictions, and unfiltered takes that some viewers may find intense or controversial. Listener discretion is advised. If you're looking for chill, this ain't the place.
Hey, welcome back to another hot episode of HBCU Hour, where the legacy lives loud, and the culture takes center stage. From the gridiron to the hardwood, we shine a spotlight on the soul of Black college sports. This ain't just coverage, it's a celebration. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Looking forward to having this conversation, talking with one of our good friends about a very good matchup this week. I say a very good matchup because there's literally two, or at least on the D1 side. Everything else is money game. But man, we're gonna go ahead and get to it, man. We've already run a little bit behind, holding y'all up. NFL has kicked off tonight, but that don't stop nothing. So let's go ahead and get to it, man. But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsor over at Kelly Creations. We will be back in 1 minute. Your brand deserves more than basic. It deserves bold. It deserves clean. It deserves Kelly Creations. From screen prints that pop, to embroidery that speaks volumes, to picture tees that tell your story, Donald D.K. Kelly does it all. Give him a call today at 225-202-2625 or shoot him an email at kellycreations225@gmail.com. That's KELLYKREATIONS 225@gmail.com. And don't forget to tell them No Chill Sports sent you. Kelly Creations. Nobody does it better. And like I said, everybody, this is our game of the week as we talk about Alabama State taking on none other than the Southern Jaguars. And to come in and help talk about this, none other than the man himself, Mr. Carlos Brown. Carlos, thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening. I appreciate the time to be on the show, and I do apologize for getting on late. I don't know what was going on with my computer, but hey, I'm here now.
Hey, it's all good. It's like you said, it's better late than never. But it's gonna be a great conversation. I can already tell you. Looking forward to having this conversation. We talked a little bit about it when I reached out to you. Southern taking on Alabama State. Before the season, we knew this would be a highly contested contest. This will be a very big matchup, although be it not a conference game. Let's go ahead and get the nine conference games. Go ahead. But anyway, but no, look forward to having this game. And I think the hype for this game grew even more when we saw what Trey Holly did in the first week. Southern stumbled in that game, but we felt like, okay, well, maybe they'll be okay. And, stumbled a little bit against Valley, but then we saw Alabama State and Andrew Biden was able to do against UAB. And I think everybody is going crazy with what they think is going to happen in this game. So First off, man, let's talk about the last game against Valley. Your perspective of how things went. Um, and I guess you can kind of tie in against with the Central game as well. But what are you seeing from Southern so far?
Well, I'll definitely try to tie it in. Um, Run game, good so far, can even get better. But from a realistic standpoint, under 100 yards throwing the football against Central and then against Valley, not up to the standards it needs to be. So now that's going to put, to me, a lot of pressure on Southern University offensively. Because here's the thing: if you're a defensive coordinator, you've looked at two pieces of film, two game film. It's no secret they're going to stack the box, and they're going to say, "Can McCoy, because Jalen Woods is out, probably in concussion protocol, they're going to simply say, we don't believe you can beat us throwing the football." So they're going to stack the box. So what has to happen then? Big plays. You saw big plays in the North Carolina Central game, not as many in
Mm-hmm.
Valley. So one athletic quarterback versus another one. And we saw what Body did. Number one in offense, Alabama State. He won a national award. He is as advertised, and he is healthy. So it's not a lot of game scheming going to have to go on. It's just simply going to be, can Southern University muster up a passing game in game three? Because the opposing team is going to say, we're not going to let Holly beat us. We're not going to let Franklin beat us, and we're not going to let McCoy, who's very athletic. But then that brings up the conversation that we've had before when I've come on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic quarterbacks, dual threats. To me, dual threats can do both equally well. Right now, Southern University can't say that strictly from the quarterback position. And the offensive coordinator is going to have to come up, I believe, with a scheme that can punt. They'll have to punish Alabama State for putting that many people in the box and be able to make the big plays. But I'll tell you something else. It'll be nice to have a 10, 11 play drive,
Yeah.
75 yards, take off about 5 minutes, 6 minutes off the clock. That's what I'm hoping for Saturday, multiple
Yes.
times.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I will say this, that one of the things that I feel as though, and you mentioned a 10, 11 play drive. What's good, Cook? Or Crook. One thing that I will say, that if you want to stop Alabama State, one of the best ways to do it is probably, like you said, keep them off the field on offense.
Mhm.
We have seen Alabama State dominate several teams in the past with their defense and everything. We didn't see that so much in game one. Them giving up 52 points to a UAB team that is predicted to be pretty kind of low of the totem pole in FBS. But one thing we found out recently, uh, about half the starters on defense were out during that game.
Mm.
So that's going to be interesting in itself to see. And I'm kind of, y'all forgive me. I'm kind of talking the both sides. Our uh, Alabama State representative couldn't make it with us tonight. He had a conflict, so it's definitely going to be interesting. Um, this game, what do you see? And you kind of mentioned a little bit. What are some keys to victory for Southern on the defensive side?
Well, defensively, now getting that information from you about Alabama State, it kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
Albeit now they're going to have some more starters back, because if we look the last few years, they've been very good on defense. Offense, it was one of those things where, inconsistency. So on defense, I got under my nose, they got to force some turnovers. Yeah, you know, that will help the offense. They've got to force some turnovers, and I think they're negative in that department, albeit in two games. And then also, you flip the script. Body is a tremendous athlete that's playing quarterback. But you can't forget about it. He can throw it. So
Mhm.
Southern, I think, will have to show him some different looks. They're going to have to put a spy on him. Their most athletic person, maybe two, and try to. I don't think you can stop him, but I think you can kind of neutralize him somewhat. But and in defensive, they've got to be aggressive. Um, they will have to look at body when he's going to the huddle, out of the huddle, even when he's on the sideline. That's how serious this guy is.
Mhm. Yes. Um, completely agree. Completely agree. One thing I do want to know, uh, you mentioned about team stacking the box against Southern to slow down a rushing attack that we have seen can be explosive. Albeit three-head monster when you throw in the quarterback in the mix. They are as about as dangerous as offense can get, but that's one dimensional. Uh, in the North Carolina Central game, at least in my opinion, and just about everybody I've talked to, the quarterback made some pretty good throws, but your wide receivers dropped them.
hmm About three of them, three passes on
Yeah,
the fingertip.
yeah.
But here's the thing: it was either long passes or like little bubble screens. I didn't see any intermediate passing, which is to me the most important. Comebacks, crossing patterns, curls. You didn't see any of that, and the Jaguar Nation kind of pretty upset about it. Yeah, you know, one dimensional is what you just mentioned, and I would have to agree with that. As much as it pains me, they've been one dimensional, and they cannot be that way going forward, starting Saturday
Mhm.
night.
Yeah. Another area of concern that I saw with Southern, and this is strictly from the North Carolina Central game, the defense being a strong point, something that we all thought would kind of help this team to grow into its offensive identity. We saw them get pushed around a little bit in the trenches. We saw those defensive tackles kind of get bullied around.
hmm
I guess, in the words of Eminem, "Will a real defense please stand up?"
Well, they've had a couple of weeks, and still not to my liking against
Right.
Mississippi Valley State. They gave up what 29 points. Um,
Mhm.
they've been working hard, but they've got if you can't stop the run, you're behind the zero ball off the bat, and then have to worry about in the next couple of weeks. Besides Alabama State, you play up against Fresno.
Mhm.
That is what it is. Then the off week, and then the first conference game that officially counts, and we know who that game is with Jackson State.
Mhm.
So I've got a little ahead of myself, but they have to have gap integrity. They've got to push. They've got to work hard because we all talked about this defense based on last year and the year before that. It was the offense that struggled. But so now going up to game three, both have struggled. Both units need to improve. And hey, they need to start Saturday. It's not a conference game, but all games matter.
Yes. Yes. As we have seen, uh, what is it about Alabama State? Let me ask this that worries you the most, be it offense or defense?
Well, of course, Andrew Body, but somehow, even if you contain him, there are others that can have a big game. Defensively, after the information again that received, it explains that I expect a very tough defensive team that we're used to seeing in Southwestern Athletic Conference play. And if Southern gets pushed around defensively, that's not a good sign at all. That's not good at all. Now, Alabama State played up, albeit UAB.
Mm.
They got 85 scholarships. And so they kind of wore them down. But I expect Alabama State to be pumped up. they're going to be confident from what they've seen on the tape. Now, it's Southern's position to make them uncomfortable once that game kicks off.
Yeah. So let me shift a little bit away from the football team, and I'm gonna ask you more about the fan perspective in the field around BR about this game upcoming. Alabama State. It's a rivalry. Name a game in the SWAC that really ain't a rivalry. But you got a matchup where, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 times they played, it's been a non-conference game. How does this, how does the crowd feel about this game, and how are the fans kind of, the feel around the city?
Concern, I would say, first and foremost, because expectations. Look, I get it. Every program have expectations, but you can name Jackson State and Southern where it could get nasty pretty quick if they don't meet those expectations. They were picked to come out of the West. They've got to play each game now as it is important. So it's kind of a nervousness. It's a Pete Richardson Classic. Playing at home, you would hope that the last 2 games they let it go and they focus on Alabama State. So I think it's a cautiously optimistic and concerned. It's not so much Alabama State, and that's no disrespect to Alabama State at all. Because the last time they played 14-10 under Coach Dooley. But it's more about how Southern can improve. And they don't have any easy games. How they can improve and get better. Because if they're not careful, it can get away from them quickly.
Yeah. Man, Carlos, before we get ready to get out of here, let me ask you this before we go. And honestly, if you want to stick around, you can. I'm just gonna talk about some of these other games, these other matchups, if you want to call them that. But let me ask, yeah, week WEAK. WEAK. How do you see this game playing out?
I've always said I'm a realist. I have concerns. They could be playing Virginia Lynchburg. I'd have some concerns, but I also expect them to get it done. 8/26, September the 4th. Based on what I've seen, I would favor Alabama State. And I hope I'm wrong. Saturday, when I do my show, I'm going to see how I feel. But as of now, I think Alabama State's going to come in and they're going to be hyped. And if Southern's not able to match that energy and the execution, Alabama State can very well win this football game. Look, 52 points on a group of 5 football team. You should be concerned. You really can. You really can be concerned. So, but I'm a realist. That's the way I feel right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask this last one. Southern wins if
they have at least 150 yards passing. I'm kind of shuddered that I say that, but 150 yards passing, balance on offense, and establish the run game. I would turn Holly loose and Franklin, but I also would be creative in ways of getting them the football, not just slamming it into the line every time. We test Alabama State defense, but look, we can be creative. We can send Holly out on pass routes, line up as a receiver, have Franklin in. How about having both of them in at the same time with an athletic quarterback? I think the Jaguar Nation is ready for some creativity on offense.
I'm laughing at some of them. Paris said Southern wins at Alabama State doesn't show up.
Come on, Paris. Come on.
Lionel says, said SU wide receivers and D's got the same hands. Man. So and then there's a lot of talk about the Capitals in here.
Well,
So
again,
but
I try to be a realist. I don't have
mhm,
the blue and gold glasses on that thick. I can challenge some of those, and some of the people in there, I know them in the chat room, and we appreciate them tuning in. Um, but it's more about Southern. They've got to get it going. They've
yeah.
got to get it going. Because if not, I tell you what, if you invite me back and you ask me what is the pulse of Baton Rouge, two places I could think of, Jackson and Baton Rouge, where they don't play.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh Lionel asks, is Holly healthy?
Expected to play. Yep, a little tweak, but he's going to play. Jalen Woods concussion protocol, and
Hmm.
and I kind of feel because when I was on here before, I try to be objective. I hyped up Jalen Woods. Well, had an in-house deal the first game. Everybody kind of knows what happened, and then last week getting a hit. And Coach Graves was really pissed off about it because he said the slide is what's supposed to protect. But anyway, you can't change it. He's out, and hopefully he'll probably be back for the Jackson State game. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I pretty much wouldn't play him against Fresno,
Oh yeah.
but Jackson State. But Southern's going to show up now. Now, if they can get off to a good start and get momentum, the home crowd, it could be totally different. You know, Southern can't win
Yeah.
the ball game, but you asked me who I picked as of now.
Yeah. Yeah. And Paris asks, isn't McCoy hurt as well? I did hear he was banged up, but I don't know if you've got more intel or know anything different.
I'll find out. Coach Graves had a press conference Tuesday. Some coaches don't reveal injuries, but he's going to get the start. Now, the interesting thing is you have Dylan, who's a freshman. He went through all the fall camp. The thing was they want to redshirt him, right?
Hmm.
Then they brought in Ashton Struthers, who basically has been at Southern 2 weeks. So, a matter of fact, in the Valley game, he came in and just handed the ball off, right? So
Hmm.
that would be a very difficult situation. And if McCoy wasn't able to play, but from all that I'm hearing, he will be in the starting lineup.
Yeah. All right. Well, Carlos, again, you are more than welcome to stay. Thank you so much for coming on and talk about this Southern team. But let's go ahead and thank everybody for the game of the week. This Alabama State Southern matchup brought to you by Kelly Creations. Let me get back. All right. Now the next game that was it was up there for
Mhm.
game of the week was this Alcorn State going to or coming up here to Normal to talk about. I mean, to take on this Alabama A&M team. We got to see Alcorn on Thursday night, and it's 1,000. I think the number was 1,025 days since Northwestern had won a game, and Alcorn they stormed the field on Alcorn. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. You also had an Alabama A&M take on Arkansas, and I'll say this: Alabama A&M looked great for about a half a quarter or a quarter and a half, so however you want to look at
Yes.
it.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
and then you start seeing the differences in resources. Um, what's your feel on this one?
Well, Charles Edmonds, the voice of Alcorn State Athletics, I told him on our show, I picked Alcorn to win. I said, but don't be surprised if Northwestern State, if they hang in close, they can get it. Because that program is really went down. I can remember some of those great Northwestern State teams. So that being said, penalties hurt Alcorn a lot. I think they had over 100 yards in penalties. Special teams play not good, and offensively they struggled. And here's what I mean: they missed some open players, receivers. Could have made a big difference. Didn't happen. Can't change that. Now, I did get a chance to see about a quarter, half of Alabama A&M. They looked the part physically. Big, strong quarterback back there, and they're at home. The home opener. You want my prediction, or you just want me to?
Yeah. You can tell me a prediction. Yes, the 15th annual Lewis Cruz Classic. This is also a non-conference game. Give us
Yeah,
9, Swag. Swag,
yeah.
give us 9. Come on, Swag. Come on, Swag. Give us 9. But yeah,
That'll be an interesting conversation if I could be in there when they have those spring meetings, and that's probably on the table. But I like Alabama at home. You always have 3 points. I can't believe I'm saying points, but I like Alabama A&M. They're physical, the offensive line, defensive line, and to your point, they did well for a quarter and a half, and then the resources I like that took over. But I think they're going to be ready. And Coach Shade, talking with him in Birmingham, um, he is a coach that believes in getting things done, and he said he's not thinking about 3 or 4 years to get it done. He's trying to get it done early. So I like
he said
Alabama
he want the
A&M.
East now. Yeah, he said he want the East now. I was at that press conference, so I agree with you. I like A&M in this one. It's gonna be it's rough sledding for Alcorn, and it doesn't get any easier as you start looking down their schedule. As far as A&M, I think if they get this one, they can pick up some steam heading into Jackson State, or the Gulf Coast Challenge take on Jackson State. And I know that's a little bit ways down the road, but I think they can get this one going. Next game that we actually have up is an interesting one in the fact that I honestly think the D2 school may have the upper hand in this one. Virginia State taking on Norfolk State. Mike Vick in game 2. I like what Virginia State can do, has done. I felt real confident in Norfolk State coming into the season. After that showing last week against Towson, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, offensively, and I guess if you ask the average fan, they thought offensively they were going to be better than on the defensive side, but they ran a lot of empty backfield, and it just seemed like the rhythm was just off. And defensively, they kind of got after him after a slow start, but I think Virginia State gets it done.
Yeah, completely agree with that one. Paris said, Coach Shade ain't getting that. That East, he ain't getting that. Crook says Vic is no good. Vic ain't no good.
Well, and
I think it's early.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I try to be objective about how we classified as the celebrity coaches. You know, Sam Shade, he came up the ranks, and that's what I look at. Coach Vic, I wish him the best, but I don't know. It just seemed like on the sideline, I don't know if that's just the way he looks all the time, but he looked lost. I mean, and all I can say is because he doesn't have any head coaching experience that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's got to have a great staff around him. You know, it's easy to think that, hey, I could go on the sideline and coach with no coaching experience. No, that doesn't work. You got to have good people around you.
Yeah. You mentioned Trent Dilfer earlier. No, you didn't. I'm sorry, you did. That was a different conversation. Trent Dilfer, UAB, same situation. I think he only had high school head coaching experience before he took over, and it's been tough for him. And he almost lost his job last week thanks to Andrew Body. But I think it's the same situation here. What we see with Mike Vick. I think it's too early to tell if he's going to be able to bounce back and do well. But I think at least give him a chance. So I'm
Yeah,
not going to move too fast on that one yet. And
right.
I
Because
and I know why a lot of people are kind of on that, saying how they feel about celebrity hires, why they, feel that way. So
yeah, I'm a Southern grad, and if
hmm
Aeneas Williams, a Hall of Famer, I will have the same
hmm
stance. Do you
mm,
have head coaching experience? No. Have you have assistant coaching experience? Well, then how about you join the staff and help out in a consulting role because it's not about money, and then build your way up. But I
mhm.
get it. I'm probably in the minority on that. The celebrity coach or the coach with the name recognition, it excites a good bit of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week we talked about Norfolk State taking on Towson. Towson now takes on their rival Banks. You can say it ain't a rivalry all you want. It's the battle of Greater Baltimore. Towson goes down to take on Morgan State. Morgan State, who actually
Played good against South
played a great
Alabama,
game
right?
against South
Hmm.
Alabama, lost by 17, had 3 turnovers on the
Hmm.
road. Uh, I give Morgan State a chance in this one. As a matter of fact, I think Morgan State might pull this upset off, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it. State in this one.
South Towson State, um, they didn't really hurt themselves, and it was game one. They say the most improvement. I'm going to throw out a cliche here between game one and game two.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Morgan State will play tough. I think at the end, Towson State will win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan maybe loses on a late field goal or
Mm,
a late touchdown.
yeah, I think Morgan State finds a way. If we can start seeing Morgan State more consistently putting up points, that's the only thing that's held them back these last few years has not been able to score. Uh, I could think of probably several games if Morgan State can score 17 points, they can win a game. And I think if they're scoring 21 and not turn the ball over, I think they'll
Hmm.
be in good shape. So yeah, I could be completely wrong, but I'm at least give them a chance in this one. Um, the next one we got UAPB taking on Central Arkansas.
Ooh.
UAPB took on, they took on Texas Tech, and it was not pretty last week. Coach Hampton just keep taking the lumps, but he keeps fighting on with his guys, and I as long as he on the sideline, I think they'll be all right. I don't know how much longer they're gonna give him though. I don't D Lob ain't in here. D Lob, you let us know. But UAPB versus Central Arkansas, what you got?
Central Arkansas, and the goal for me for UAPB is to improve in one or two categories. It's tough. Um, y- Last week's game, I'm sure, was for a guarantee game, and people know how I feel about that, so I won't get on here and boohoo about that. But forget about last week. Try to make some improvement in a couple of areas, and look forward to the next game afterwards, after Central Arkansas.
Yeah,
Although it's not Texas Tech, but I think Central Arkansas is a little bit too strong.
I completely agree. I only thing I look for, and I pray that we see out of UAPB, we see a little bit more of a fight. We see them uh, get clicking in one or two aspects of the game, so
Mhm.
they can, once they do get to conference play, they're at least competitive in each game. Next game we
Right.
got up, and Crook, cover your ears because I know you're gonna start acting up.
Uh-uh.
Jackson State taking on.
It's a rough week too. A lot of teams are playing up. Um, Southern Miss, a new
Mhm.
coach, dropped one to Mississippi State. I couldn't use it if Jackson State wins. They will fire him in game two. Probably not. But 85 scholarships, 63 goes into 85. I'm consistent with that with a remainder, right? But I look for Jackson State to
Mm-hmm.
try to improve. They were a little sluggish offensively against Hampton. So week 2, and Coach Taylor said it, you know. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough going to Hattiesburg. I don't expect a 20 or 30-point blowout, but I think Southern Miss at the end of the day
Right.
they'll wear Jackson State down because of those 85 scholarships.
Yeah, I
And
completely agree. And I'm with you here. Now, Crook say,
mhm.
Crook say 98-0 Southern Miss. But
Oh,
I'm
come on,
with
Crook. No, no,
I'm with
no.
I'm with Paris on this one. I do think y'all have a chance. I do think this looks more like so. And you mentioned the Mississippi State. I think this looks like that Mississippi State Southern Miss game with the opposite, where Jackson State hangs around and is probably in the lead for a while. And then late is where it's gonna get tricky once depth starts coming into play, or they start bringing more and more guys down. Saying off the bench. That's where you
Yeah,
usually
that's
see
the
these
thing.
games
Yeah.
get. Yeah, so that's where I think this one gets tricky. I look, Crook. I know how you feel about Jackson State. If I can see Jackson State pull this off and get this win, I promise you, I will be happy. Not just for them, but
Mhm.
I'd be happy for HBCUs as a whole, man. But especially with the stuff they pulled this summer, uh, with all the advertisement and using somebody else band or HBCU band to play. Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
go on somewhere
Don't
with
get
that.
me wrong. I'm pulling.
Mhm.
I got a swag shirt on. I'm pulling for Jackson State. I'll be very happy. You know, and
Mhm.
and, and I think at the quarterback play is going to be important. Don't hurt the team. Put them in a position. Got a nice, huge offensive line, and come out and throw the first blow. Hit them in the
Yeah.
mouth, and then if you get hit them back. All the pressure's on Southern Miss, if you ask me.
Mhm. Yeah.
'Cause,
Uh yeah, agree there. Now, man, and we Carlos, we talked about week 2. Uh Other notable games, and I'll just kind of fly down these because these are all pretty much money games. Well, I ain't gonna say all
mhm.
pretty much. These are money games. Uh, you got Texas Southern going to Cal, FAMU taking on Florida Atlantic, Bethune takes on Miami, Valley taking on Tarleton State, which they might at this point they are a G5 school the way they've been playing lately.
Yes, sir.
My God, they've been extremely impressive. And PV welcomes in UT Rio Grande Valley, which UT Rio Grande Valley is not a Lionel. Y'all be careful. I'll say it like that. And then Grambling taking on the first of national champion that they'll be playing this season is going to
Mhm.
Columbus, Ohio, to take on Ohio State. I don't know if you
The
can, yeah,
biggest,
any of those.
yeah.
You,
Look,
yeah.
look. The biggest question I got was how much will Gremlin get back after expenses? Wow, that's kind of sad to say that. I don't know, but that's I guess for the student athletes, the football players that play in that kind of environment, it's good for them. We don't have to make a prediction on that one. We kind of know,
No,
you know,
no.
how that's going to
I,
be.
I
And,
do
and
like
FAMU,
Coach Joseph. Yeah, I do like
uh,
Coach Mickey Joseph response to I don't know if you saw the press conference. He said Ohio State has a really good band. We've got a really good band. Our band is gonna really go up there and compete. That was his response. So
well, well,
he, he he did
I can understand that.
he did say he was joking and stuff, but he was realistic about kind of expectations going in there. So yeah,
Hmm.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, and if it gets away early, start playing the second
Mhm.
unit. Give them some playing time.
Mhm. Yeah. You were about to say about FAMU before I cut you off.
Well, I see my good friend EA in there. Hello, EA. Um, Can FAMU go 0-2 to start the season? Boy, that hurt last week, didn't it? Got a chance to see that one against Hampton. It seems like a lot of teams, and
Howard.
yeah. I'm sorry, Howard.
Them H2 folks will come after you quick. I don't want to do that to you, Carlos.
That's right. I'm glad you recognize that, and I apologize because I think somebody got in trouble for that. Me at football day. So Howard in DC, you're right. I guess we can put that to the bloopers. It just seems like some of the teams in the conference, the defense is ahead of the offense. I know that, but it seems like the offenses are struggling. And I saw FAMU against Howard. They struggled. Defense kept them in the ball game. So can their offense improve in week 2 to start getting ready for conference play? What do you think? What would be your prediction on that game?
I don't know. Yeah. It's gonna be tough. I'll say this, and I'll put it like this. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what needs to change. But if they play like they played last week, they ain't winning many this season. And they will be looking for another head coach very soon. And you can't blame that lady. You can't blame that lady this time.
Wait a minute. This is year 2 for Cozy, right?
Yes.
Carlos Brown contract. I can hear some people saying that now.
I mean, listen.
I'm pulling for him.
I believe that the quarterback they had last season covered up a lot of mistakes. I do, and you're right. It probably won't. It won't. He said it won't happen, and I agree. It probably won't. But if you play like it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna get real uncomfortable.
Can we put FAMU alum and followers and fans in the category with Baton Rouge and Jackson? They're not going to accept too many losses, even close ones. So it's going to be interesting in the East.
Yeah,
we've got the predictions, but it looks like based on one game, it looks like Alabama A&M may be better than we thought. Alabama State, with a healthy body, maybe a little bit better than we thought. It'll still have to play out. Right. We'll see. I mean, I still got Jackson favored, though, in the East, but we shall see.
Yeah. On the MEAC side, some of these other games we got UAlbany is taking on Delaware State. Howard's taking on Temple. North Carolina Central is taking on Old Dominion. South Carolina State's taking on South Carolina. We mentioned the other 2 games.
Week 2 is brutal in the MEAC as well. You look at a North Carolina Central team that dominated, and I'm saying it, dominated Southern University. Then they lost their home opener by 17 to New Hampshire. So this begs the question again. We know HBCU teams want to win their conference. That's a given. But we've got to get better in non-conference games, particularly against FCS. Now, look, I don't want to raise up about the playoffs. People know my position on that for 30 years. But you can play them in the regular season and beat them. And that's what I'm looking for. Are we at the point now that we're better than the conference? In other words, get better in our non-conference games. So with North Carolina Central, I think they go down. They go to 1-2. Old Dominion, tough.
Yeah, I agree. On the D2 side of things, we actually have some pretty good football on this side. Pretty good matchups. Albany State's taking on Kentucky State. Florida Memorial's taking on Clark Atlanta. Lincoln of Mississippi is taking on Lang College. Miles is taking on Edward Waters in Jacksonville. Livingstone is taking on Allen. Shorter is going to Savannah State, and Central State is taking on Tuskegee. In the CIAA, we've got Shaw's on the bye week. Sorry, Valdosta State taking on Johnson C. Smith. That's a game. It's at 12 o'clock on Saturday. That's a game to watch. In the D2 side, that will be a must watch game. Lincoln, PA is taking on Duquesne. Concord University is taking on Bluefield State. Bowie State's taking on Shippensburg University. Elizabeth City State's taking on Hampton. Fayetteville State is taking on UNC Pembroke. And Winston-Salem is taking on Mars Hill University.
I would like to speak on Edward Waters. Who they're hosting?
Mm-hmm.
Edward
Waters is hosting Miles.
Coach Shay's old school.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Bolden seems to be playing well for Edward Waters. On Coach Jenkins and Coach Dooley. Apparently, he has found a home and he's spinning it, and they're improving. That's an interesting game. I think I would pick Edward Waters because they're at home. They're at least worth 3 to 7 points. And Miles, great history. That's going to be that's an interesting game. I'm gonna go with Edward Waters, but somehow I think I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong.
I honestly I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably would go against that on normal. But after watching Miles take on Virginia Union last week and get absolutely embarrassed and destroyed the way they did, it's hard to say that is going to go any other way. I'm with you on this one. Give me Edward Waters in that game as well.
And Virginia Union is pretty good. Pretty doggone good.
Shout out Coach Ragland over there. He sent me a message one day and told me, he said, if you look at the record since I think he was like 2000 or whatever, Virginia Union was the best HBCU record wise.
So is that the possibility? I know there was some talk about them moving up. Is that still a conversation that's going on?
I have not heard anything of the such, but I definitely will keep an ear to the ground. If they do, I please go to with MEAC. It seems like the most likely place.
Or is that or is it Virginia State? Maybe I'm getting confused, like Howard and Hampton. But I know there was some talk about it, and geographically, the MEAC would be the best fit if they decide to move up.
Now, Carlos, before we actually get out of here, I do want to recognize conference players of the week. Looking at each conference, I actually didn't even look up to see who Tennessee State was. And Tennessee State takes on North Dakota State. At home.
Is that at home? Okay.
Yeah, at Still home. Gonna be tough. Listen, Carl, I'm be honest with you, sir. They can play North Dakota State anywhere in the world. They can pick the place. They can play them in their own backyard. I don't care. No disrespect to Tennessee State. North Dakota State by 35.
Ooh, oh my goodness!
It's gonna be, and I'm being nice. It is the challenge, the uphill battle that they have already this season, being that they pretty much replaced all but 6 players on that team. I mean, the win they got last week, I'm not saying it was miraculous or anything. It was a massive feat to get the win over North Carolina Central, North Carolina A&T, excuse me. I'm gonna get jumped on. I'm talking about you. But for them to take on North Carolina A&T, and get the win over them. Not saying that North Carolina A&T is this juggernaut, but to get that win was huge. North Carolina A&T also is taking on Central Florida this week, so it doesn't get any easier for them. But them to take on a perennial national champion like this is it's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, one thing they'll see where they're at, where they need to go. A&T and Tennessee State both trying to rebuild. Glorious past, but now we're in the now. So yeah, it's tough. This tough week. This week 2 is tough, man. I'm gonna tell you, and I don't really like to see a lot of those guarantee games, but I understand it. I get it. People have to do it. I said on my show one time it'll be one guarantee game every 4 years. Boy, the emails I got was amazing. But I'm a tough guy. I'll take on all criticism.
Yeah,
that's where we're
at. I understand. I understand. From a fan perspective, I hate to see it, but from a business aspect, because what a lot of people don't realize, it's entertainment for some, for a lot of us, it's business for others. With that said, let's go ahead and look at some of these conference players of the week. In the SWAC, this is offensive, co-offensive, Andrew Body from Alabama State and Ahmad Miller from Jackson State. Defensive player of the week, Quincy Ivory from Jackson State. Specialist of the week, Donovan Warren from Jackson State. And newcomer of the week, you want to take a guess where he from, Carlos?
Jackson State.
Quincy Ivory from Jackson State is that's your SWAC players of the week. On the MEAC side, Marquise Gillis is the offensive player of the week. Quentin Johnson was the defensive player of the week. Both of those gentlemen are from Delaware State. Rookie of the week, Randall Nodden from Morgan State. Offensive lineman of the week, Gerard Burrell from Morgan State. I said, what did I say? Nodden was from Morgan State. I'm just making sure I say that. Specialist of the week with the game-winning field goal, Mr. Matt Connard from Howard.
Right. You got it right. Look, now since I said Hampton over Howard, I got to make sure I get it right. But I actually did see that play. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
And I think I had FAMU winning that game.
Yeah, that's tough. For the SIAC, offensive player of the week, running back from Albany State, Mr. Tion Weiss. Defensive player of the week, David Law Mortimer from Edward Waters. Special teams player of the week, Cameron Watts from Albany State. Newcomer of the week, Noah Bowden, a name you're familiar with, from Edward Waters.
Yes, I'm happy for him. He's found a home and he's successful. From Grambling to Southern, now Edward Waters.
All right, the CIAA. Now, bear with us because CIAA gives a player of the week for just about every position. Quarterback of the week, Rashawn Matthews from Virginia State. Offensive back of the week, Curtis Allen from Virginia Union. Wide receiver of the week, Brandon Wiley for Bluefield State. Offensive lineman of the week, Tyleek McCoy from Virginia State. Defensive lineman of the week, Tajon Roach from Fayetteville State. Linebacker of the week, Mike Riley from Bluefield State. Defensive back of the week, Elijah Wilson from Johnson C. Smith. Special teams player of the week is Brady Myers from Virginia Union. And rookie of the week is Taven Whitehead from Virginia State. Those are your players of the week for all conferences.
Congratulations to all.
All right, Mr. Carlos, again, thank you so much for joining us. As we wrap up, man, is there anything you got for this week? Anything you want to talk about or mention for the folks, for the fans out there before as they get ready to celebrate week 2 of college football?
Week 2 will not determine how successful or how bad your season could be. Week 2 is just what it is. A lot of teams are playing up. I see EA. He says Carlos Brown 4 years. Southern will be playing. I guess he's saying flag football.
Flag football. Following that plan.
Yeah. See, me and they always has this discussion about guarantee games. So, yeah, if I was in charge, I don't have any AD experience, but play at your level, be successful at that, and then once, maybe twice in a 4-year period, you get a chance to test yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But week 2, you know, it is what it is. Go out, play the best you can, and then get ready for week 3.
Yeah. All right. Carlos is being nice. He's saying week 2 don't determine your season. I'll go ahead and say this. If your team trash, go ahead, get ready. It's gonna be a long season. Just go ahead, say it.
Well. Let me edit it. If you're playing like Southern and Alabama State, yeah.
Yeah.
Prairie View, but
No.
I think actually the ones who are playing up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm being facetious. I do hope that everybody all in these money games come out healthy. Let's go in, you know what I'm saying? Go in, come out healthy, no major injuries. So you're competing when it's time to play the games that count. This game that you played just to get the athletic budget together doesn't hurt you in the long run. So
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. And to my friend EA, how much are you getting for that game? I'm betting you if Southern was playing somebody in the state like Louisiana Tech, they're gonna get 400,000 or 500,000. I'm just taking a little shot there, EA. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Hey, no problem. Before we go, Carlos, as always, please plug your show. Tell the people where they can find you and all the good things about where they can see the Carlos Brown show.
Well, of course, it's on Saturday still, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 noon if you're in Eastern Standard Time. That's every Saturday. We're on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. So we appreciate everybody following not just this show, but this show and all of the shows that have HBCU content, because we can tell the story better than anybody else. So I appreciate everybody.
All right. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday to recap some of these games and get ready to start looking. We'll be next Thursday. We'll I have to look and see what games on the slate so we can start picking our game of the week for next week. But until then, y'all be safe. Y'all love each other. Tell your people you love them. And we'll see y'all next week.